do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
Today's video is sponsored by W Jitterless Energy Blend, formulated to give you the focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor, with more than 10 different flavors to enjoy and start your day strong. Are you ready to try W? Visit W.GG today and use promo code ARROW, to save 10% on your purchase today. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's show. This is Tuned In Live. Yes, it is not a Monday. It is a Wednesday afternoon. It is very late. I just got done playing PUBG with Jeff and stuff. If you guys want to check out his show, he goes live Friday nights on twitch.tv/JeffHaggy I'm going to try to be on there finally this coming Friday for prank calls and such. If you guys are tuning in to us right now on twitch.tv/arrow or kick.com/arrow entertainment, hit that follow down below. And I just realized I just made a flubber. We're not twitch.tv/arrow with a name anymore. It's Arrow ENT. I keep forgetting that I changed the name of the channel. I tried to change it to Arrow Entertainment, but unfortunately, there's another channel out there that's Arrow Entertainment. We're also live on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. If you guys are watching us on there, hit that like and subscribe button down below. And as you heard, our sponsor, well, me doing the sponsor, first time in the chat, Della Art. Hello there. Welcome to the show. Over there on Twitch. Also, guys, if you followed our sponsor, W.GG, if you guys go over there, they are sponsored by gamers and streamers and such. If you guys want to buy any of their products from their website, W.GG, make sure you use promo code ARROW, WAN, to save 10% on your purchases. I'm doing very well, Della Art. How about you? Good to see new, fresh faces over here on the show. If you guys want to be part of the show, if you guys would love to be on the program, any of our podcasts, link for our Discord is right down below. You guys feel free to join our Discord. You can always hop in the general chat and you guys can be on the show. W Energy Blend, it's kind of like a gaming, it's for gamers, it's sponsored by gamers, it's an energy drink, it's a powder. They sell the powder in little tubs and stuff on their website. They also got energy, they got the cups and shit, different merchandise and all. It's like an energy drink. It's sponsored by gamers. It's fairly new. We've been sponsored by them for the past year or so, and I'm just now getting around to saying, hey, we're sponsored by these guys, But we also do got a merch store down below for the fans and followers of the show. If you guys want to buy any merchandise from Arrow Entertainment and other teammates here as well, CYPHER, Xavier, Loki, and such, you guys can feel free to check out the store down below. I try to price the stuff fairly cheap so you guys can be able to afford them. Whereas I always tell the people with the merch store, you guys, we're not trying to make a whole lot of money off of it. I put it down as low. We're not, branding ourselves. We're not monetizing anything. Everything's done for free. It's a hobby and all. So if you guys want to sport around with some Arrow Entertainment, goods and all, you can always check out the store down below. We got shirts, hoodies, cups, and we're going to be adding a lot more to our inventory here sometime soon. So if you guys want to check that out. So before I get into today's topic, and it's going to be a doozy, it's really going to be a doozy. You guys are going to love this one. Are we under a cyber attack? You just visited the website. Okay, there you go. Yeah, if you feel free, if you want to buy anything from W.GG, just remember to use promo code ARROW, You'll save 10% on your purchase. I think it's like $2 or $3 or whatever. But that's their setting point. That's their standard right there where they want to save. If you want to buy anything from our merch store, make sure you use promo code ARROWENT, and you will save 15% on your purchase over there as well. A clap of thunder happens as I appear in the chat. There is CYPHER. There's the other team member. I am also in the Discord, if you guys want to hop in, and definitely gonna be a good one today. Also, we also have another podcast that Tom and I run. It's called the Utter Random Crap Podcast. We go live. Do they deliver worldwide? I imagine they would. I mean, I haven't really checked into that, but I imagine they would. I'll look into that for you if you want to, hit me up and everything. If you want to follow on, the Twitter, or if you want to follow on Discord or whatever, I definitely get you updates on there. If you want to keep up with us, definitely keep up. We definitely like to keep up with new followers and fans and friends. That's what I like to do. I like to interact with you guys. Anybody who is new to the show, anybody who picks up on the show. You are in UAE right now. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Okay. But yeah, definitely, if you want to keep up with us, like I said, links are all below. If you want to follow on Discord, if you want to follow on Twitter, we'll definitely keep you up to date with everything. I like to try to get everybody involved, anybody who's a gamer, anybody who's into podcasting and such. I like to keep them up to date with a lot of things. I don't know if I can order or not. Like I said, I will check out the store and all after the show, and I will let you know if you want to follow or anything. That way I can get a hold of you and let you know. I'll definitely put that stuff in the Discord or on Twitter, whichever you want to feel free following. So yeah, let me start off by saying where am I from? We are in the United States. I'm designated out in Maryland. Maryland, right on the East Coast of the United States. Yeah, it's right there next to the ocean. Yep. So, let me go ahead and start this off real quick. So if anybody's following the presidential campaign, or you may not, you just follow on Twitter, awesome. Always nice to have a new follower on Twitter. Thank you very much. Let me go on over there. Let me make sure that I follow you as well. That way I can, let's see. Might not have come through yet. Okay, not yet. But yeah, if you want to shoot me a message, I don't know if I should be accepting messages. You know, if you're able to shoot me a message or tweet at me or something, and I will definitely get a hold of you on there. So, if you guys follow the presidential campaign of this year, it's going to be a real doozy. It's a real damn doozy. You know, you got Donald Trump and Biden going at each other's necks again. And of course, you got this other follower, you know, Nikki Haley. I think she was a governor or something. One of us. Yes, be one of us. But yeah, if I can't remember if they said Nick, you'll message me soon. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll get with you on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always, you know, flipping through and shit. So Nikki Haley apparently was a governor in one state or whatever, and she decided to run for Republican candidate for 2024. She came in pretty late in the race, though. She came in very late. I want to say, November or December she came in. And she said she was going to run. She was going to run against, you know, she was going to headbang with Donald Trump and all, knock him out of the race and all. Now, even though she is running for Republican, this is a person, from what I understand, she is like the last known defense for the Democrats to keep Trump out of office. And everybody hates Trump. Everybody's like, you know, we hate Trump, we hate Trump. Why do people hate Donald Trump so much? Where is the hate? Like, I that's what I don't understand. It's like, why do people hate this one guy so much? And there's a lot of young people out there that get a lot of false information from the media that's passed down as hearsay, and they make up their own judgments. They make up their own opinions about Trump. It's asinine, really. It really is. It's asinine. You know, Trump has done nothing but good things when he was in office. And that is what people are afraid of. That's what the Democrats are afraid of. That's what, you know, the rhinos or whatever they call them in D.C., they are afraid of Trump. Because they know Trump will come in and do the fucking job. They know that he will do shit that will backfire on them, that will be a negative effect on them, and that's good. We don't want people treating us like we're fucking slaves. We don't want people treating us like we're fucking idiots in control, you know? So they put Nikki Haley in the race to try to knock Trump out, right? Guess what? Come yesterday, okay, they had this big fucking debate. You know, it's Nikki Haley, Trump, and Biden. Well, she just announced yesterday that she is suspending her 2024 presidential campaign, leaving Donald Trump as the last major GOP candidate. Now, mind you, DeSantis already dropped out. I guess DeSantis must have figured there was no winning against Donald Trump. There was no winning. People want Donald Trump out of office. They put all these bogus charges on him, all these phony fucking cases that they pulled up on him. Even the judge in New York fined him, $350 some million over loans that he had paid? Trump did absolutely nothing wrong in New York. Nothing illegal. Any loan that he had borrowed or taken out from any bank, you guys can look it up. He paid all that shit back. So you got a crooked judge who's forcing him to pay this amount or face jail time. That's something that needs to be appealed, and I don't know if he's going to appeal it or not. But that's money they're fucking stealing from Trump right there. The Democrats are trying every illegal move in the book to keep Trump from winning this election. And they are failing miserably. They are failing. Everything is backfiring. And everybody that's a true fucking American right now is loving it. I'm fucking loving it. I will agree, and I'll admit, when Trump got into office, I thought bad things were going to happen the way they all claimed they were going to. There was a couple things that Trump said or did that I didn't agree on. Even some people that were for Trump said that he was too much of a talker and shit, you know, and not much of a politician. But you know what? Those 4 years that he was in office, he did a goddamn good job with what he did. Did we have any wars within those 4 years? Did we face any kind of inflation whatsoever in those 4 years? Did we see a rise or spike in any terrorist activity? How about anybody coming through the border down south? You know, any illegal immigration going on? If there's any illegal immigrants that crossed over, they were processed properly or detained the way they were supposed to until they are processed. But now everything that is happening right now is happening under Biden. And they just can't come out and admit to their own fuck-ups. So now Nikki Haley, let me go ahead and play this. I did not listen to any of this. This has got to be hilarious.
My mother, a first-generation immigrant, got to vote for her daughter for president. Only in America. I am filled with gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign.
Yeah!
Americans to have their voices heard. I have done that.
You ain't done shit.
And although I will no longer be a candidate, I will not stop using my voice for the things I believe in.
Okay.
Our national debt will eventually crush our economy. A smaller federal government is not...
Let me stop you right there, skank, okay? What did you say again?
I will not stop using my voice for the things I believe in. Our national debt will eventually crush our economy.
Yeah, our national debt that is being furthered into by Biden. Y'all want to sit there and say that Trump increased our fucking national debt? Now, let's look at something here, okay? Every time there's a president, there's some kind of spending, right? Some kind of spending that needs to be done. Who furthered our debt to begin with? Well, let's see. Let's go back to Obama. How much money did Obama sink us into, right? Trump didn't sink us too much into further into debt. Yeah, he had to spend what he had to spend. Maybe for the military and all, for the country. But look at Biden. This motherfucker here sends millions or billions of our money over to a fucking country that we have no business being in. What do we get from the Ukraine? Oh, we get our wheat and shit. Wheat. We get some natural resources from Ukraine. Or maybe other things. I don't fucking know. Matter of fact, let me look that up here real quick, guys. What does America get from Ukraine? I wanna fucking know this. Alright. I really want to know, how much does Ukraine really matter to the US? Alright. I want to see something here. Nah, this one they want me to fucking... they want me to sign into an account to read that shit. Nah. I just want to fucking know. I really want to fucking know. Like, there's just like, what is our interests in the Ukraine? Like, what is our interest? Everybody says we get wheat from them. We get resources. What resources do we get other than wheat? We get our oil from the Middle East. Ukraine's not part of the Middle East. At least I don't think it is. I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm not. Let me see. Where's my map at here? Okay, I got a little map. Okay, map. I guess you can sort of say, it's sort of the Middle East. It's not quite, maybe. It's right above Romania. You got Belarus, and there's, Russia. Russia's fucking bigger than the United States, Shit, Russia's a fucking mastermind. But I don't see anything really that comes out of fucking Russia, comes out of Ukraine that helps us. Except for maybe certain resources that, we got farms for. If y'all want to sit there and say we get our wheat from the Ukraine, okay, how much farmland do we have in the fucking United States alone? Where we could grow the fucking shit. We could grow our own stuff. Why aren't we making things in America? Why aren't we growing, producing stuff in America? Is it cheaper to get it from foreign countries? I don't fucking know. But let me tell you something. Ukraine and Russia, they're going at each other's throats. Let them. That's what countries do. Every goddamn war that has been blown out of proportion in the last 200 fucking years, if it's not the United States fighting with itself, you got countries going to war with other countries for various reasons. Some of them is terroristic. Should we be involved in it? No. If the Ukraine and Russia are bombing the fuck out of each other, and they look at us and say, y'all stay the fuck out of it. This is our beef. Why the fuck aren't we staying the fuck out of it? Why are we getting involved in something that involves the fucking Ukraine and Russia? Why are we getting involved in it? Why are we sending our fucking money over to these motherfuckers? I actually got a TikTok video, I believe. Let me see. I don't know if it's still up here, but there was something about the children. Sending our children. Or Ukraine wanting to send our children to fight a war or something. I don't even fucking see. It must have either got deleted or I saved it somewhere else. I don't fucking know. The government keeps shutting down farms here. Yeah. Exactly. That's what they do. The fucking government is shutting everything down. What the hell did Biden do day one in office? They can't say Trump did it because Trump was all for it. Trump was putting fucking producing jobs for it. What was the one thing that that fucking Biden did day one? He shut down the oil pipeline. Something that could have made us millions of fucking dollars. Producing our own oil, extracting it from fucking Alaska. Putting hard-working Americans to work. Producing all these jobs for Americans. Oh, the Democrats didn't want that. Biden didn't want that at all. No. He shut that shit down. And motherfuckers want to sit there and say that Biden, under his presidency, we have the lowest unemployment rate? The fuck we do? He put so many people out of fucking work, not just with the pipeline, but with fucking COVID. How many fucking businesses went under when Biden got in? Because you gotta get the jab. If you don't get the jab, you don't go to work. You don't have a job. You gotta stay home. How many people were bribed with stimulus checks to stay home, to stay away from people? All to fucking rig a goddamn election. And they did it. They fucking did it. We had so many people go out of business. So many businesses go under. So many people that were jobless. You want to sit there and say that the unemployment rate is down right now? You want to know why? All these hardworking Americans that had careers, really damn good paying jobs, that were making 50, 60, 70, anywhere up to $100,000 a year in revenue. Where are they at now? They're working at fucking McDonald's and Walmarts and Burger Kings and such. Oh, I'm sorry, even some of those chain stores, they're going under too. A lot of them's going under as well. So there goes more fucking people losing jobs. And the unemployment rate is down? You got businesses going under left and right, filing for bankruptcy. They can't keep up with shit anymore. Why? Because of inflation. Trump didn't create inflation. That shit started under Biden. I mean, yes, in our period as a country, you know, in the history of America, we've had periods of inflations and shit. You know, we've had what the fuck's the word for it? You know, we had I can't even fucking think of it right now. But there were really hard times where people had to really save up money, had to scrounge for fucking money and shit. People couldn't afford to live. They couldn't afford to do this. They couldn't afford to do that. There's been periods throughout the fucking, you know, throughout the fucking last couple centuries, you know, like that. Maybe this is not the worst that we've seen, but it's definitely bad. And we got one man who's running against this fucking tyrant, who promises to change all that, to turn everything around. And you know what? Somebody had told me one time when Obama got reelected. He tried sitting there saying, well, no president, it doesn't take one whole term to make a change and turn everything around. Maybe it does when that one person is working their ass off to change it. What the hell did Obama do in 4 years? Nothing. What did he do in 8 years? Nothing. Except put a very shoddy fucking healthcare system out there that fucked thousands of fucking people. It really did. I mean, whether it had some perks to it or whatnot, that was the only thing that he was mainly fucking good for, in a sense. A fucking healthcare system. Did, you know, all these fucking terrorist acts that were taking place, ISIS and shit, while Obama was in office. Remember the Navy SEAL who took out Osama bin Laden? Obama took credit for that. He took credit for that. There was a fucking movie about that soldier. Now it's like, well, we don't want him. We don't want him voiced anymore. We want him silenced. That kind of thing. One soldier went in and made the shot. Obama takes credit. Yeah. Even though a lot of these motherfuckers didn't even fucking know. Didn't even know where the fuck Osama bin Laden was. Some people knew where he was. Right under their fucking nose. Before I get really into that, so let me read up on this. So, Nikki Haley suspended her presidential campaign on Wednesday after being soundly defeated across the country on Super Tuesday, leaving Donald Trump as the last remaining major candidate for the 2024 Republican nomination. Nikki Haley only won one fucking state. I think it was Vermont. She got one state, and she got DC. That's all she fucking got. It was a goddamn joke. It was a joke and a half, people. She should have never come in and say, I'm going to run for president. I'm going to knock Trump out of there, and I'm going to debate with Biden and shit. Yeah. You were the last card that they threw in there. You were supposed to be their ace in the hole, and you failed miserably. That is fucking hilarious. Haley didn't endorse the former president in a speech in Charleston, South Carolina. Instead, she encouraged him to earn the support of the coalition of moderate Republicans and independent voters who supported her. It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who didn't support him. And I hope that he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away. And our conservative cause badly needs people. Yeah. Even though you were thrown in there to try to knock Trump out of it, now you want to kiss his ass. Now you want to suck his dick, right? Haley, a former South Carolina governor and former UN ambassador, Christ, was Trump's first significant rival when she jumped into the race in February 2023. She spent the final phase of her campaign aggressively warning the GOP against embracing Trump whom she argued was too consumed by chaos and personal grievance to defeat Biden in the general election. So she had her doubts about Trump the entire time. She had her doubts about Trump. And now she's just dropping out. Now she wants to suck his dick and say, as long as you can embrace this, embrace the people. And shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. You were put in there for a fucking reason. They wanted you to knock Trump the fuck out of there. You could have probably been the first female president. I mean, we already had the first black president, Obama. But we would have had the first female president. Luckily, it wasn't fucking Hillary, Haley's defeat marks a painful, if predictable, blow to the voters, donors, and Republican Party officials who opposed Trump and his fiery brand of Make America Great Again politics. Christ. It's amazing how these idiots turn a simple phrase such as Make America Great Again into such a terroristic phrase. It's almost like they're comparing it to Hail Hitler. That's what they're doing. They're comparing that to Hail Hitler. They're calling us MAGA supporters, cultists, terrorists. What does that term mean? Make America Great Again. He's not talking about revert it back to the days of slavery and pre-civil rights. He's talking about making things good to where Democrats aren't fucking you whole in the ass. And then they want to sit there and say, oh, there's not a whole lot of black supporters who support Trump. The fuck there ain't. I see that shit all the time online. These people don't fucking know that Trump has a vast majority of the black community behind him, supporting him, wanting him in office, because they know Trump was good to everybody, no matter what your race, creed, color, or whatever. Trump was good like that. And then they want to sit there and say that Trump was racist? Name one fucking racist thing about Donald Trump. Did he say anything racist about the black community or anything? Because I can label out a shit ton that Biden has said in his tenure in office since the 1970s. So what is it? If you don't vote for me, then you're not black enough? Who called it that, people? I'll give you 10 seconds. It was Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden who fucking said that. Trump never said anything like that. So I'm not going to read any more of this fucking garbage here. But if you guys want to read about this, if you truly want to read about this, I'm going to put it over in the Discord. Tune in Live Scraps. If you guys want to read up on the Nikki Haley situation. But yeah, she's out of the whole thing. She's out of race. Good riddance. Bye. Trump's still going to get it, though. He's definitely going to be the next president. Well, he was already president, but he's going to get it. Just like somebody was like, oh, well, he's going to go to jail. He's not going to be able to be president. He's not going to be able to run. Yeah, bullshit. These states have already tried to illegally take him off the ballots in certain states. Can't do that. A violation. Violation of the Constitution. They don't understand that. So you got a lot of these so-called politicians in states. They don't know jack shit. They don't study the fucking Constitution. They don't study the Bill of Rights. They don't study anything. Everything that these people are doing against Donald Trump, they think they're going to get away with because, oh, well, America hates Donald Trump, so we'll get away with it. No. You're wrong, and it backfired on you. And I fucking love it. Just like if Trump were to go to jail, if he were to go to prison, okay, has there been any president who served from prison. And you guys will be, you guys, take a look at this, okay? Now, I'm going to put this, same thing. You guys want to read up on it? Over in the Discord, podcast leftovers, tuned in live scraps, you can read up on this. Can a president serve from prison? Astoundingly, and despite, indeed, perhaps in part of because of his recent indictment on charges of felony falsification of business records, Donald Trump is the clear front runner for the Republican nomination of 2024. Much could change between now and the primaries next year. Now, this article is from last April, almost a year ago. But the indictment, the potential for indictments on 3 other sets of charges, and Trump's grip on his party base all point to the possibility that he could be elected president while in prison. But what happens then when it happens? Let's see. This talks about 34 counts. Yeah, he's got 34 counts against him. He is beating. They're all being shot down. Now, let's see. I'm just skimming through. Okay. Skimming through. Constitutional grounds for ineligibility. Article 2 of the Constitution sets out the qualifications for the presidency. 1 must be a natural-born citizen, at least 35 years old, and a U.S. resident for at least 14 years. In Powell versus McCormick, the Supreme Court ruled that the House of Representatives could not add qualifications for its members beyond those listed in Article 1. The same logic would appear to apply to disqualifications for presidency. Thus, even though one would hope that voters would consider not being a felon still under sentence a de facto requirement for the presidency as a formal matter is not. But what does all that mean? There's a pardon loophole. I'm skipping ahead in terms. I'm trying to find something for you guys, okay? The pardon loophole, yet Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is no magic bullet. If Trump becomes president again, he might try to pardon himself. An 1871 case of United States versus Klein, the Supreme Court ruled that someone who had received a presidential pardon could not be deemed disloyal in virtue of his having participated on the Confederate side of the Civil War. The case involved the deposition of the property rather than the eligibility for office under the 14th Amendment, but is nonetheless suggests that a pardon could be effective as a means of removing the taint of insurrection. So everything involves the 14th Amendment. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard, these idiots in the House and Senate and all that, referring to the 14th Amendment, the 14th Amendment. Can a president pardon himself? As I noted in the 2017 column, although the Constitution is probably best read to foreclose self-pardons, there is sufficient doubt about the matter of Trump might attempt it. Moreover, a punitive prohibition on self-pardons would be relatively simple to evade with the support of a pliant Congress under Republican control. Trump could resign, leaving the office of the presidency vacant. His vice president, let's call her Marjorie, would then become president. Marjorie would then pardon Trump and also name him as the vice president, which Congress would confirm. At this point, Marjorie would resign the presidency. Trump would become president again. He would nominate Marjorie as his vice president, and Congress would confirm that choice. So, in a sense, people, so you guys can understand this properly. And this basically happened a few other times in history. You can look it up. So what it is saying, and it all revolves around the vice president. It all revolves around the vice president, okay? So, if Trump were to go to jail, if he were to go to prison, but he won the elections, if those numbers rolled in and it said Trump was the next president, but he's going to jail, there's a loophole right there, guys. It's within the Constitution. It all involves the Congress and shit. So let's see. As long as you got a pliant Congress under Republican control, you can evade that. So Trump could resign his his presidency, and that would go directly to the vice president, whoever he has under his command, in vice president. Then she would take the power to pardon Trump, get him out of prison, and bring him under as vice president. Congress can confirm it. To which, at that point from there on out, the vice president can always resign the presidency, and Trump will be named president once again, and then bring the vice president under him. You see where the loop is going here? So there is a loophole in the Constitution with Congress and all, that no matter what these people do to Trump, if you put him in prison, if he wins the election, guess what? Trump is still president, in a sense. See, all you got to do is surrender your powers, give it to somebody else who can pardon you, get you out of there. It'll take a little time. Then all they got to do is say, I'm resigning. But guess what? Since Trump is vice president, and if the president resigns for whatever reason, guess what? The vice president takes over. It's not the opposite party. It's the vice president themselves. So Trump can come in, take over once again, and then that vice president that resigned, he's like, oh, guess what? I got a job for you. You can sit in my cabinet as vice president. It's a never-ending loophole, guys. That's what amazes me about the 14th Amendment with that. Even if Trump is, sent to prison, he will still come back. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, guys, and we'll get back here. We'll talk about these cyber attacks. So hang tight.
Do this. Forget this. The Skill Range Cordless Power Range. It's revolutionary. The Windsurfer from Citizen ProMaster. Rotating compass bezel. Auto-repeat fixed timer.
I can't believe that's really you up there.
Citizen ProMaster. For professional use only.
West Texas is a great place to live because of the commitment to excellence by folks like the people of Bill Williams Tire Center. They've been on West Texas' winning team for 21 years. When you ride on Michelin's from Bill Williams, you feel that same winning team commitment to excellence. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. Committed to excellence in the community and on the job for 21 years, Bill Williams Tire Center.
Mrs. Gladstone has a headache.
Actually, it's more than a headache. It's like...
Every December, Mrs. Gladstone has an anxiety attack, hoping to buy gifts that will bring lasting joy.
Do you have a cure?
Yes, Mrs. Gladstone, there is a cure. At Midland's most prestigious address, the Museum Shops, Museum of the Southwest, Midland.
Sure, my family likes fast food chicken, but I like knowing exactly what they're eating. So when I can, I make the chicken they eat. With fast food chicken, you don't know what they fry it in. But I use pure, all-vegetable Crisco oil. Crisco has 33% less saturated fat than what they use at many fast food chicken places. I really care about that. Of course, all they care about is crispy chicken. Good chicken. They really like it. With Crisco, we're all happy.
Crisco oil. Make it with care. Make it with Crisco.
A ranger never takes the easy way out.
You're reaching deep inside you for things you've never known. Go!
That's why getting into the Rangers is tough and the training's tough.
Be all that you can be.
So it makes me feel like I'm part of something really special.
Be all that you can.
And welcome back to the show, guys. You're just now tuning in, depending on what platform you're watching us on. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, follow down below. Links for all of our other sites down below. Twitters, TikToks, and such. Merch store, if you want to check out the merch store, you can. If you decide to make a purchase for the merch store, use promo code ARROWENT, save 15% on the purchase. And our sponsor today, W Energy Drink. If you guys want to make any purchases from their website, w.gg, make sure you use promo code ARROWWAN, save 10% on your purchase there. Let's get back into it. So I already proved to you guys, I already showed you, it's in the Discord if you guys want to check it out. So, even if Trump were to go to prison, for whatever reason, whatever legal reason that they illegally detained him for, if he wins the elections this year, there's a big loophole, 14th Amendment and all. If his vice president comes in, it's going to be a big loophole, and I'm pretty sure they already done the research on it, and everybody should know this shit. However, a lot of these die-hard Biden fans, they don't believe that shit. They're idiots. Nobody does their research, they just go off on hearsay. So let's see. Actually, I want to play a video for you guys real quick before I get into any of that. And this woman, I commented on her video, and this woman is very, very intelligent with everything that she has said. And I want you guys to listen to this.
I want to make sure that I got this right because I feel like you guys just aren't getting the bigger picture. The whole presidential immunity when it comes to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has no presidential immunity because he incited an insurrection and he used violent rhetoric. Okay, so he has no presidential immunity, he gets charged. What does that mean? That means that the people who were never president and were saying hateful rhetoric and hateful shit on the news, be they congressman or a journalist, also gets to be tried for their hateful rhetoric, right? People like this?
Just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Before I continue, you hear all this disgusting bullshit that is being spewed by the left. Whether it's politicians, retards in the media, even a lot of Hollywood actors. Robert De Niro, Johnny Depp, Madonna. All these fucking retards, these fucking nobody has been motherfuckers. Sitting there talking about assassinating Trump. Talking about punching him and basically killing him. They want to kill off the president, the former president of the United States. This was some disgusting shit. This was all caught on camera. All actual footage, all videos that these motherfuckers have been recorded saying. But yeah, if you say this about fucking Biden, you'd be shot on sight. Or they would fucking torture you. They would fucking abduct you and your family and take you to a fucking hole somewhere out in the middle of the fucking desert and torture you till you fucking die. That's what these fucking pieces of dog shit would do.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
You hear that terroristic threat I have thought about blowing up the White House, that was Madonna. That was Madonna. That skank, that cunt made a terroristical threat statement about thinking about blowing up the White House because Donald Trump resided in it. These are disgusting fucking human beings. I believe they should all be fucking beaten to death myself. How about you all?
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
I would love to see a motherfucker come up on me. You know what? I'm going to buy me a MAGA hat. I'm going to buy me a MAGA hat, and I'm going to wear it. I'm going to wear it proudly in public. And I would dare one motherfucker to look at me and threaten me. And I will look at him and say, you know what? I could dig very deep holes. And trust me, nobody will find your ass. So fucking try me.
Anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right-wing Americans who say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe. If you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. No, I'm not joking. Think about this. Think about the rationale we use. That's you.
You see how fucking disgusting that these left-wing liberal pieces of dog shit are? Aren't both parties supposed to get along with each other, Democrats and Republicans? In this day and age, they're not. It's a fucking bloody fight. Republicans aren't out for blood. Democrats are. And they brainwashed a bunch of fucking high school dropout, brain dead, retarded, autistic motherfuckers. They brainwashed these fucking people into this. To them, oh, Republicans and conservatives, oh, they don't deserve to breathe. Give me a loaded fucking gun, I will take care of them. That's how Democrats think. That's how liberals think. That's how the left thinks. It is very fucking sickening. But this woman here, Ellie Mae, on TikTok, she describes it perfect.
Let's be clear here. You saw Joe Biden in there calling for violence. You saw Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, you saw news journalists calling for violence. We don't have free speech in this country anymore, unless it's the Democrat narrative, because I guarantee you, well, it's not the same as going to be in my comments, because it is. You can watch Donald Trump's whole entire speech in its entirety on his X account. It's still up there. To this day, it's still up. You can't hide it. You can't try to flip it and switch it to fit your fucking narrative. It's there. All anybody has to do is watch the thing in its entirety, not the snippets that you take out to paint him as some evil, terrible, dictator, horrible, fascist person. Sorry, it doesn't work with those of us that have critical thinking skills. We watch the thing in its entirety. Everything. But back to the presidential immunity. If Donald Trump has no presidential immunity simply for saying something that someone doesn't agree with because of their political beliefs, then that means that way crazier shit, like, I don't know, Obama leaving soldiers to die in Benghazi, gets to be prosecuted and tried. People like, I don't know, George Bush, who sent millions of Americans over to die in Afghanistan and Iraq over weapons of mass destruction, which didn't fucking exist, and it was actually over oil, gets to be charged and tried. That also means that Bill Clinton, who had a sex scandal with Monica Lewinsky, gets to be tried and prosecuted. That also means that your precious, precious Joe Biden gets to be charged and tried for every single death at the hands of these illegal immigrants because of his failed border policies. And you are not going to sit there and argue with me on that. This man single-handedly cut down every policy that Donald Trump had to keep this country safe and keep our borders secure. His first day in, cut everything and invited everybody to come on in there, telling them, oh, we'll help you pay for your American dream at the expense of U.S. taxpayer dollars. All of those deaths are on Joe Biden's hands, which means once he gets out of office, he can be tried because, well, presidential immunity doesn't exist, right? You don't get to have one side of the coin. It's both sides. So either there is presidential immunity or there isn't. You don't get to pick and choose just because you've been told to hate this man. Wake the fuck up.
Major props to this woman. Major props to her. Official Ellie Mae over on TikTok. Major fucking props to her. I saved that video. She's right. She's definitely right. If these people really want to charge Trump with all these things that they claim that he's has no immunity on, then why hasn't any other president been charged with anything of what she stated? The Bill Clinton sex scandal with Monica Lewinsky. The fact that Bush was a fucking Republican president, but everybody hates fucking Bush. I even hate fucking Bush. Sent us overseas to fight a magical fucking war over weapons of mass destruction, over Saddam Hussein and shit. You know, he didn't send anybody over for fucking Bin Laden. It was all over fucking Saddam Hussein because Saddam Hussein fucked his daddy in the ass back in the 80s, you know? We gotta uncover those weapons of mass destruction over there. They got these missiles hiding over there. No, it wasn't that. It was for other fucking shit. It really was. Hell, Saddam Hussein, he wasn't even doing anything to us in 2001, 2002. He ain't done shit. But they found him. He got taken publicly by his own fucking people. Strung up and hung and shit. Did he do anything? No. He didn't. How about the crimes of Obama? The crimes of Biden? Nope, they're all pardoned. They're all pardoned. Nothing's gonna happen to them. Trump does nothing, but they're still gonna fucking charge him with whatever they fucking can. And of course, the biggest thing was that goddamn porn star, you know, the one that he had sex, you know, that he raped or whatever and shit. Yeah, okay. That's how powerful the government is, guys. They will pay somebody off to fake a narrative for them, just so they could take their opposing opponent out of the race. That's all that is. That's what Democrats do. That's what a lot of politicians will do. If they need or want to cheat their way in politics, money's a big thing. So guess what, America? Every penny that you put into paying your taxes goes into shit like this. So us Americans technically paid for this shit. We're paying for it and we don't even fucking know it. We don't even realize it. Think about it. So going into hour 2 here. And I don't plan on spending too much longer on today's episode, but I want to talk to you guys about, are we under a cyber attack? Now, I'm going to play this first video. And it's very interesting to me that I'm going to be pulling up these dates, because this guy pulls up these dates too, but listen carefully.
Okay, so what just happened here? Let's talk about it. Today is March 5th, 2024. What happened this morning? We had Facebook, Instagram, basically Meta went down. Completely out. Told you your session expired. You go to sign back in. You use your password. All of a sudden you can't sign back in, right? A couple hours later, the problem is resolved. But hang on. Do you guys remember back on February 22nd? AT&T went down, right? Service all across the country goes down. About 60 to 70,000 people from what I remember. Also, the pharmacies were confirmed to have been hacked. All in the same day, right? And then we had that new balloon who showed up. But let's go all the way back to the beginning of the year. January 5th. What happened? Verizon went out. Verizon service down across the country. Thousands and thousands of users not able to dial out, send a text, nothing. So now we've had 3 consecutive months of the year where there's been outages and balloons. Pharmacies, cell phone service, social media services, all methods of communication. There are a lot of theories floating around out there right now about what happened. I've actually also seen a couple TikTokers post videos showing that as soon as the social medias went down, the emergency broadcast came across their radio. Multiple TikTokers have posted videos like this showing the EBS, emergency broadcast system, coming across their radio. At the same time, sirens started going off because I guess they live close to military bases. So, dry run, not dry run. Is it all just a coincidence that every single month this year we've had a major outage for communication resources, pharmaceutical resources? I don't know if you still believe in coincidences, but if you do, it might be time to stop.
Let's go back further. Let's go back a little bit further than that. You guys remember back in October last year, FEMA, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, conducted a national test of the integrated public alert on and warning systems on October 4th, 2023. You guys remember that? The day where, and I've done a podcast. I've done an episode on this back then. You guys can go back and look it up. And I think we might have also talked about it on Utter Random Crap too. I'm not too sure. But remember that day, and I've warned people, and people were warned, shut your cell phones off on that day. Turn your phones off, turn your computers off, turn your TVs off. Now, apparently nothing happened. They did their broadcasting and all that, but people were, getting a little too far ahead of themselves by saying, oh, the government's going to send out this high-pitched frequency that's going to fucking brain warp us and all that shit. There's going to be a fucking zombie apocalypse and all that. I love when people do these weird-ass conspiracy theories, talking about how the government's going to turn us into weapons of mass destruction, such as zombies and shit. And that stuff never happens. But I believe, and this is my strong opinion on this, especially when it comes to conspiracy theories, I believe all these outages have something to do with this testing that happened back in October. Because it's like, okay, they told us a couple months in advance that they were going to, do this testing. It was going to happen over the air, the fucking radio airwaves, the TV airwaves, cell phones were going to be affected and shit. Your computers were going to be affected. And the day came, and maybe there was a little broadcast emergency on the radio. I don't know if something happened on the TV. Cell phones, I had my cell phone turned off for about a half hour. When I turned it back on, I had some weird fucking message on there, but that was it. So something happened that day. I'm going to say this. Something happened that day. But then you fast forward to January, okay? Almost 3 months later. Or about 3 months later. Microsoft Teams went down around the world for about 8 hours. This was in January. Or as he stated, somewhere where Verizon went down. I can't remember what he all said, but let's see. How about AT&T? Cell phone services and shit went down February 22nd. This was literally 2 weeks ago tomorrow. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Cell phone services went down. AT&T, Verizon, I think some T-Mobile services went down and shit. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. And you know what's hilarious about that is the fact that AT&T blamed the incident on an error in coding. which possibly has something to do with an update or patching on their phones, on the software. I don't know. But they're going to sit there and blame a coding error. Hey, what's going on there, Hoyt? Oh, man, I didn't even see you in there. I don't know why it didn't pop up on Twitch. I think I noticed Facebook not working yesterday. It didn't last long for me. I just ended up having to log back in and reset my password. Yeah, I'm going to get right into that too there, Hoyt, because yesterday I was asleep when it all happened, so I woke up in the aftermath. But yeah, so AT&T services and all, they went down, right? And it was only in certain areas that it was affected. And then they're trying to sit there and say that there was something wrong with a patch or an update. But then now they're saying certain things like solar flares from the sun is starting to affect it and shit like that. You know, solar flares happen, you know, depending on what happens. You know, it's all scientific stuff. Like, you got all these fucking newscasters and shit talking about these solar flares. They're going to be affecting the world soon. They're going to be affecting our telecommunications and shit. Our telecommunications are going to be out of sync. You know, we're not going to be able to communicate with each other for days or weeks or whatever. Yeah. But you also forget there are certain wavelengths that maybe the solar flares don't affect in a sense. Like, let's say cell networks are affected. You can't call out on a cell phone, right? Do you still have a landline at your house? Do you still got one of those old phones that your parents or your grandparents used to use? So there is something good about having a landline after all. Now, I know everybody's with the times and, you know, everybody's carrying a cell phone and shit. But what about back in the day when people were using landlines? Think about that for a second. I'll be right back.
Use holes. Yeah, rolling out the good times with Yahtzee players, lovers, and friends. With Yahtzee, the good times never end.
Yahtzee from Milton Bradley. You're watching USA, America's favorite cable network.
It happens while you sleep.
A kiss? Not yet, honey.
Millions of bacteria form in your mouth.
A kiss? No.
So you wake up with the worst breath of the day. Morning breath.
Oh, honey.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Antiseptic Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
How about that kiss?
Where's my kiss?
Kiss me, you big lug.
Scope, original mint or peppermint. The best thing, first thing in the morning.
And we're back. So, 2 weeks ago, AT&T and Verizon went down, right? They're trying to blame everything on patches, updates, coding errors, all that kind of stuff. Then they're trying to blame solar flares, right? Let me tell you all something. If we were affected by a solar flare, you would definitely know it. You would definitely know it. And I'm pretty sure if you research it, actually, let me see. I'm gonna tell you all right now. What happens when a solar flare occurs? Solar flares occur when the magnetic fields of a given region on the sun's surface become twisted or tangled, forming intense loops of magnetic energy that merge and become unstable. This unstable energy then explodes, releasing a lot of radiation into space. Solar flares can release light in almost every wavelength across the spectrum, as well as accelerated subatomic particles such as electrons and protons. I'm pretty sure if you guys have taken science in school, you would know about protons and electrons. I'm pretty sure you guys, I would hope you guys do. Solar flares are large explosions on the surface that emit intense bursts of electromagnetic radiation. The intensity of the explosions determine which classification the flare belongs to. The most powerful are X-class flares, followed by M-, C-, and B- class, and A classes are flares that are smallest. These flares can be visible as bright flashes in a particular region of the sun and can last several minutes. Solar flares occur when magnetic energy builds up in the solar atmosphere and is released suddenly. These outbursts are linked to the solar cycle, an approximate 11-year cycle of solar activity driven by the sun's magnetic. So they happen pretty much every 11 years. So I'm pretty sure we've had solar flares in the past that really never really affected us, depending on where they happen at. Magnetic fields are created from electrically charged gases generating electrical currents that act as a magnetic dynamo inside the sun. And this is according to a statement from NASA, which is why at least my next thing is like, why isn't NASA reporting this shit? Why hasn't NASA reported any of this? This has all come from like random media networks and shit, you know? These magnetic fields twist, tangle, and reorganize themselves due to the turbulent nature of the gases that create them. This unsettled magnetic field behavior, known as solar activity, can trigger solar flares, eruptions from the surface that release vast amount of electromagnetic radiation. And I think we've already covered that. Solar flares today. Solar activity is on the rise as we expect solar cycle 25. Solar maximum is predicted to occur in 2025. To find out the solar flare today to find out if it is a solar flare today, and to keep up with the latest space weather findings, spaceweather.com records the most recent 24 hours of solar X-ray data. So let me go to this website here. Now, I don't understand, wave charts and shit and all that, but if you guys want to take a gander at it, I'm going to put the website over here in the Discord under Tuning Live Scraps if you guys want to check that out. That's a very interesting website. But yeah, I'm going to bookmark this too. Yeah, this is like shows the waves of different activities and shit, so if you guys want to keep tabs on that. How do solar flares affect the Earth? This is what we want right here. Luckily for us, A and B class solar flares are most common and are also the weakest of the solar flare classes, too feeble to affect Earth in any significant way. C flares are also fairly weak, exhibiting little or no effect on Earth according to spaceweatherlive.com. With two largest classes of flares, things start to get a little more interesting. Strong M-class and X-class flares can trigger coronal mass ejections, a large release of plasma and magnetic field from the sun. This behavior can disrupt Earth's magnetosphere, that's a big word, and result in geomagnetic storms. Such geomagnetic storms can lead to auroras closer to the equator than it is possible during calm conditions. In 1989, a large solar flare accompanied a coronal, can't fucking read today, mass ejection and hit Earth, plunging the entire province of Quebec, Canada, into an electrical blackout that lasted 12 hours, stated by NASA. The solar eruption triggered a geomagnetic storm on Earth, resulting in aurora borealis or northern lights that could be seen as far as Florida or Cuba. Those are pretty neat to look. So if you're in like 12 hours of darkness, go outside and experience the northern lights. That's always a nice thing. Solar radiation storms can also emit fast-moving charged particles which carry a lot of energy and can endanger astronauts and Earth-orbiting spacecrafts. So, yeah, that will knock out electromagnetic, a lot of interference with the electromagnetic, the satellites and shit, so we'll knock that out. During these storms, astronauts on the International Space Station need to seek shelter, and all extravehicular activities are paused. Radiation-sensitive systems and satellites are powered down until the radiation storm has passed. During an eruption, M-class and X-class flares can also cause minor to extensive radio blackouts on the side of the Earth facing the sun. Radio blackouts mostly affect high frequency, which is 3 to 30 megahertz radio communications through sometimes very high frequency, 30 to 300 megahertz, and higher frequencies can be affected, according to the website. The radio blackouts are caused by higher electron densities in the lower ionosphere of Earth's atmosphere, the layer though which radio waves are passed through. The enhanced electron density causes radio waves to lose more energy as they travel through the layer, preventing them from reaching higher layers that refract the radio signals back down to Earth. So, from what I'm seeing, it only affects certain wavelengths that are radio waves based. It says nothing here about cell phone waves. Nothing at all. I'm going to take another quick break, guys. I got something going on. I'll be right back.
Sometimes you gotta break the rules.
Okay, BK Broiler, then enough.
The friends you trusted are still the best kind of friends. Hug like Mickey. When you give him a hug, Mickey's face lights up with love. Hug like Mickey, designed by Mattel, making friends you can believe in.
To make wrenching fast and easy, you can either do this or get this. The Skill Wrench Cordless Power Wrench. It's revolutionary. The Windsurfer from Citizen ProMaster. Rotating compass bezel. Auto-repeat fixed timer.
I can't believe that's really you up there.
Citizen ProMaster. For professional use only.
And we return, guys. Sorry about that. Constant interruptions during the show. I try to keep everything interruption free, but it's not working in my favor today. So I hope you all caught all of that. With a little education there on solar flares. If you guys missed it, I put the web link to that website I was just reading off of in the Discord under Tune In Live Scraps. This website is space.com. This is nothing that's going to come from like CNN or Fox News or anything of that nature. So solar flares tend to happen to certain, they seem to affect certain radio wavelengths. Cell phones have a much different wavelength than radio or television wavelengths do. So it's very odd how some people will sit there and say that your cell phones were affected by a solar flare. But if you paid attention to what I was reading, it also said depending on which side of the earth is facing the sun. Now, this is going to put it's going to put all these flat earther motherfuckers into a frenzy. All these fucking retards, all these fucking cocaine addict, earth flat believing motherfuckers into a frenzy. Okay? That also proves to you that the earth is not flat. It is a round fucking shape. Deal with it. So, depending on the side of the Earth that is facing the sun, is going to be more affected by these solar flares. So if a flare goes off on the side where Africa and Russia and all that is facing the sun, and it's nighttime over here, we're not going to be affected by that shit. We're not going to be affected by any of that. Even if we are, yes, all of our communications are. A solar flare is basically an EMP. That's the best way I could put it. It's an EMP. Electromagnetic pulse. It disrupts all electrical equipment, and as the storm passes through. So the storm lasts anywhere up to 12-15 hours, right? Well, kiddies, you can last 12-15 hours without playing your Xbox or your computer or your cell phone, can't you? You can go that long without it, right? So I ask you guys, if these people are saying that these cell networks were affected by a solar flare, why wasn't any other electronic affected? Why wasn't it? We all know what's going on. We do. Whether you believe it's a conspiracy theory or not, this is all government related. It is. Same thing with Meta yesterday. Yesterday, Facebook, Instagram went down and people were losing their shit. How many times a year does Facebook go down? And I swear, people lose their shit. They're like, oh my God, what the fuck's going on? I can't log into Facebook. I'm sorry to some of y'all who live on Facebook and live by it and all. I'm sorry. I get on Facebook myself too. But you know where I was at yesterday? I was dead asleep. I worked the night shift. I was asleep during the morning hours that Facebook was affected. Even so, somebody I follow on Facebook put a fucking TikTok video up saying, does anybody know what's wrong with Facebook? I can't log in, and I tried to log out and log back in, and it wouldn't let me log in. It's because the whole meta system was fucking down. How do people communicate with each other nowadays? If it ain't your cell phone, if you're not calling or texting people, you're hitting them up on Facebook or Instagram. That's one way of communication, people, that was affected yesterday for what, 2-3 hours? Didn't affect me. I was fucking asleep. I wake up in the aftermath of this shit. I'm like, what the hell happened? Facebook went down today? I don't fucking know. You know what happens when Xbox goes down? When I can't play online with Xbox, I just say fuck it, do something else. I'm either on a computer doing something, or I got games on Steam I could play. I ain't worried about no fucking Xbox shit, you know? Or I'm doing something with the kids or the family or whatever, you know? I don't throw a fucking shit fit when Xbox goes down. Fuck it. But people were losing their minds yesterday. Facebook went down. Instagram went down. That's like that fucking joke from Ron White, if you know who Ron White is. Where he's talking about being on a fucking plane and a fucking pilot, you know, it's like it's one of the small ass planes that fit like 5 or 6 people on and shit. And he's saying that the pilot came over the air and was like, hey, we lost some oil pressure. He's like, oh, I got you. And then he said one of the fucking passengers was losing his mind, and he's like, hey, if one of these engines fails, how far will the other one take us? And Ron's like, all the way to the scene of the crash. Which is very handy, because that's where we're headed. Crash this motherfucker. I don't want to limp away from this shit. Yep, this generation can't survive without phones. No, they can't. That is true. This generation will never survive without a piece of electronic. They never will, because that is their life. That is their fucking life. They never had the lives like we did growing up. When we were kids, we were playing with fucking toys and reading books and going outside and playing. What are kids doing today? Some of them are still playing outside, but for the majority, they're inside on a fucking tablet or cell phone, or they're playing. What are they playing today? Minecraft and Roblox. Minecraft and Roblox. It's a kid's way of life today. What was I playing when I was fucking 7, 8, 9 years old? I was playing Super Mario Brothers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whatever fucking games we had on NES and shit. Or even if you were lucky to have a Genesis or a Super Nintendo, you know. But kids today, they will never know what it's like to not have that shit. They will never know. So if a solar flare were to actually hit this Earth tomorrow, as stated, if a solar flare were to hit and our electronics were knocked out for 12 hours, you had no TVs, you had no computers. Oh, I don't know if gas power cars will be affected, but to those of you that are driving your precious Teslas and all your electric vehicles, guess what? You ain't going nowhere, Jack. You going nowhere. Oh shit, my car just stopped. What the fuck happened? Solar flare hits. Oh no, that can't be. Oh, start, damn it, start. Is my battery dead? Your battery might as well be fried at this point because we just got hit by a solar flare while fucking Bob over here is putting away in his fucking gas-powered vehicle and shit that really has no electronics that are affected or whatever. So you got these smug motherfuckers that are sitting in it crying the blues. My Tesla's not working. It's not going anywhere. You know why? It's all electric. It's all computerized. It's been hit by an EMP. It ain't going nowhere, Jack. You are fucked. You just spent $60,000 on a piece of shit. Because when you look at TV shows like The Walking Dead, right? There's a timeline on that show where they span over a period of 10, 15, 20 years. If it runs on gasoline, guess what? It still runs. Fossil fuels, man. Oil. You can't do that with an electric car. And what are the Democrats trying to do by 2030? Get everybody into an electric vehicle? What? Boy, was that the most dumbest fucking idea ever. Ever. So let's see, if we were hit by a solar flare, not only were your communications be knocked out and shit, but you ain't going nowhere. If you were a Tesla boy, you want to communicate with somebody, well, if they ain't fucking knocked them all out yet, if you're still paying for a landline phone connection with your provider at home, you can still call out. Plug that line in, son. Grab that phone, son. Dial that shit, son. How you calling me? Landline, son. I don't believe in that fucking cell phone bullshit. You got kids out there that are on phones that can't make a fucking call to each other. But I can call you because you and I, we're the smart ones. We still got a phone at home that we can use to communicate with each other. And they want to do away with those? God damn. So yeah, Meta went down yesterday. I think a few other services went down too, but I can't quite remember. So, what does this mean? We're already into March. January, February, and March. Something had went down one time in each fucking month. What's going to go down in April? We're already seeing a fucking pattern here, people. We are already seeing a pattern, and all these brain surgeons out there have their fucking genius ideas as to what's happening, right? While I'm sitting here like, please, educate me. Educate us all. What truly is going on? Well, you see, there was a bad update that did not go out. Yeah, we're patching it right now. Something went wrong. We were trying to send out an update that could spy. I mean, that could do something good for your phones and shit. But something went wrong in the coding, and then look, the sun. Yeah, the sun just blew up. The sun's all gone and blown up and shit. So that's all I gotta say is, the sun blew up and this and that. Yeah, okay. The sun blew up. The sun went boom. And meanwhile, just sitting here. I'm just sitting here, just listening to all this garble, all this garbage. How about your cars? Do they still run? You driving a Tesla? Yeah, I had some issues with my Tesla yesterday. Somebody had to come out and fix that. We figured maybe it was a faulty battery or something. I don't know. Yeah, okay. That's okay. Meanwhile, the rest of us smart people who actually have an education, who actually have a degree or diploma or somewhere, somebody who actually paid attention in school, we all know what's going on. We're not brain dead. We're not stupid. We know what's going on. So when you all think about these last 3 dates in particular that's happened this year so far, think back to October 4th, 2023. They already warned us. They've already prepped us. And now they're doing it. Now they are testing us. Because they know what we use in forms of communication. They know when they could take that shit down. They know when they could silence us. Can't get a hold of anybody. This is our government. They're in cahoots with the Chinese government that's also a part of this big fucking fiasco. I'm going to play you a set of videos before we end this. And listen closely to them.
AT&T cell phone customers had their connected world stopped.
12 hours after a widespread outage.
My suspicion is we need to be prepared.
Food delivery is gone. Water doesn't work. Your telephones don't work. The world goes back to 1859 and we're all in the dark and the lights are out.
The first thing on everyone's mind was someone hacked us. And I'm not gonna lie, the FBI just happened to explain this a couple of weeks ago.
PRC hackers are targeting our critical infrastructure. Our water treatment plants, our electrical grid, our oil and natural gas pipelines, our transportation systems, and the risk that poses to every American requires our attention now.
Okay, I do want to add that I am not into politics, including controversy. I feel like the warnings are there, but a lot of people are missing out. And I don't want to see a lot of you get left behind. And when I say left behind, I mean being unprepared. Now, if this was China or Russia or another country, I do have to add that I have nothing against Chinese people, Russian people, or anybody like that. I'm a minority myself. We're talking about superpowers, governments fighting against other governments. We're kind of caught in the middle. Christopher Wray, the FBI director, couldn't have said it any better.
I do want to make very clear that my comments today are not about the Chinese people, and certainly not about Chinese Americans who contribute much to our country and are frankly often the victims of Chinese Communist Party aggression themselves. Rather, when I talk about the threat posed by China, I mean the government of China.
Remember a while back when there was some spy balloons, aka UFOs, that they had to shoot down?
Noticed out of the corner of my eye a white spot in the sky. I, of course, landed on the most logical explanation that it was an extraterrestrial craft.
You were ordered to engage?
But it only took a single missile which homed in on the heat of the sun reflected off the balloon.
Franklin.
That was kind of a warning, too, that a lot of us missed out on.
Houston, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta reporting the most service interruptions.
A lot of these cell phone outages happened in major cities. And what a lot of people aren't talking about is that this happened in the United States. Didn't happen anywhere else. I could be wrong, but I didn't hear about anybody losing cell phone reception in any other country but the United States. Many people were upset that AT&T didn't really offer much of an answer as to why their towers were down. Was it because they themselves didn't know for sure, or was someone telling them to?
All right, so that question remains tonight. Who and what was responsible for this outage?
I don't know, but I do find it weird that they didn't respond for a really long time. Actually, I think they just responded this morning as to what caused this outage, and many people aren't buying it.
Sources just told ABC News it was caused by a software upgrade gone wrong.
But before AT&T even responded, this professor from the University of Texas at Dallas had this to say.
So you hear that? You hear that they're trying to say that AT&T said it was a software update, right? Let's go on to the next one.
Actually, it is some kind of a software bug that goes undetected, and if you haven't properly tested before release, it can have certain unforeseen outcomes.
Prakash lost phone service too. It is only his theory, but he feels the outage could have been sparked by a network software patch.
Typically, you would push these kinds of patches late at night when there are very few customers online to provide minimum disruption.
So this is something that we know for sure. I mean, the professor just mentioned this. How do cyber attacks happen? It happens through software, happens electronically. So we cannot rule that out entirely. Now, many people were also attributing solar flares to this outage as well. Think of solar flares as being kind of like storms that happen on the sun, and it can kind of create little problems here on Earth. But there's a couple of reasons why it's definitely not the solar flares that happened. Well, for one, the solar flares happened a few hours prior to the cell phone outages. And yes, they did mess with radio signals, which are HF signals. The reason why this can't be connected to cell phone outages, though, is because they use a completely different signal known as UHF, ultra high frequency. And supposedly these solar flares did not affect those whatsoever. In fact, I even have a meteorologist here that's going to break it down for you.
There were solar flares. 3 of them occurred overnight. The latest one being right in the middle of the spectrum for R1 to R5. These were radio interferences. Biggest one was an R3. So it was not the biggest, but kind of in the middle of the pack here. And these solar flares are an eruption of the sun's energy. We've seen these before, and we're going to see more of them in the years ahead here because we're near a solar maximum with what we're calling it here. And I first want to talk about this. This occurred 3 hours before the first outage reports came in here. It recorded the flare at 1:30 this morning, I should say, and it hit the radio frequencies, the HF frequencies, not the UHF, the ultra high frequencies where cell phones are on. So that's why these flares couldn't have been accounted for when it comes to the outage today. Not to mention it was nighttime here, and these types of flares occurred in the daytime on the other side of the world. That's where it was felt, because these were radio interference coming from the solar flare. That's why we didn't get anything directly from the solar flare.
Most definitely was not created by solar flares. There's some freaky stuff happening with our sun right now. I don't know if you knew this, but the sun has a north pole and a south pole, very similar to our magnetic poles here on Earth. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on this, but they're supposed to be moving pretty soon. Yeah, completely doing one of these. I watched a whole video on it. Pretty scary stuff. If you want me to make a video on that in the future, I'm game. Just let me know here in the comments. But it was not a solar flare that created these cell phone outages.
Exactly. So, like I was saying, solar flares act like EMPs. Yes, they affect radio signals and stuff, but what you all were experiencing between February and yesterday had nothing to do with solar flares. So what is it? And I know this is probably like more than 5 parts, but I'm going to play this last video and we're going to see what's going on with this.
So what are people online saying after they watch some of these videos? I'm sure a lot of you have been in the comment section to some of these videos and maybe some of the news. Look at some of these here. AT&T absolutely knows what caused the outage. Now, this is last night when they weren't really responding much as to what caused the outage, and we'll get into a little bit of what they say caused the outage. The crazy thing is the main cities affected by the cell phone outage are the same cities that could be affected by, I'm not going to even say that word.
And it's very ironic too, because the word he's talking about is nuclear attack. So these cities that were affected by cell phone outages are the same ones that can be affected by a nuclear attack. Isn't that a coincidence? Who would definitely have access to weapons and stuff that could affect these cities within a range? Just think about it.
They'll never admit the cause. I'll check this comment out. The FBI just warned us about cyber attacks that hit our infrastructure, and they are exactly right. They were warning us just a couple of weeks prior. Saying it was probably a software bug is not a technical analysis. The two theories I've heard are either their SIM database crashed or a failed DNS update without proper backup or rollback procedures. This was just a couple hours ago. No PR release from AT&T for hours. This is going to hurt their business. And you know what? I happened to check their stock this morning, and it didn't really hurt them at all. I mean, they had like a slight dip and it went right back up, so didn't really hurt their business. And then there's this comment: stock up on canned foods, rice, and beans. It was not a cyber attack. Rest of the world, definitely a cyber attack. It did take AT&T probably like an entire day to respond to this madness. I mean, we don't know what they were going through. I seen a lot of workers really stressed out, left in the dark. They didn't know what was going on. If it was a software thing, like a software patch, like the professor said, maybe someone kind of messed up. And if that's true, how come AT&T isn't offering some incentives? Maybe pay some of these people's cell phone bill, give them a credit for a month. I mean, there was people's livelihoods that got...
You know, it's interesting he says that, how AT&T never offered any incentives for their service being down, but only such an asinine explanation to saying, oh, it was a patch update, it was a patch update. Okay. How many users do you have that, you know, they lost their cell phone connection, they lost their cell phone service for X amount of hours? You know, they were trying to get a hold of loved ones, families, friends, whatever, and they couldn't get a hold of anybody because your services are down. What are you going to offer them as an incentive? Remember last year, what was it, last month or whatever? Who was it? Somebody was offering, I think it was Verizon. Yeah, Verizon was offering an incentive of what, $5? Get fucking bent.
Put on the back burner. There's a lot of people that depend on this cell phone service for work.
Oh, I couldn't work at all. There was no service. I had a bill hit this morning out of my checking account, and I don't have much, and I've got more bills to pay.
There's this woman right here saying that she had bills coming out that very same day, and she was looking forward to making some money on Uber, and she couldn't. She couldn't make any money, and she's upside down now because of it. Are you going to offer these people some incentives? Maybe give them some money, a kickback? I don't see a problem with maybe giving them a discount on their next month of service. But this is AT&T's response today at 7 o'clock in the morning. AT&T said that the hour-long outage to its U.S. cell phone network Thursday appeared to be the result of a technical error, not a malicious attack. They bring up malicious attack because that was on everyone's mind, and almost feel like they shouldn't have said that, because that just raises eyebrows even more. Why not just come out and say, hey, my bad, we had a little bit of issue? Like, don't even put that in the same sentence. The outage knocked out cell phone service for thousands of its users across the US starting early Thursday before it was restored. AT&T blamed the incident on an error in coding without elaborating, and quote, based on our initial review, we believe that today's outage was caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process used as we were expanding our network, not a cyber attack.
So they were very, very strong with emphasizing that it was not a cyber attack. They were they had heavy emphasis. That's what I'm looking for. They had heavy emphasis on malicious attack and cyber attack. Otherwise, what this guy is saying is if it wasn't an attack, why not just come out and say it was a technical error and just offer incentives to people? There was something more going on, and they were being very subtle about it. There is a final part to this. I'll go ahead and play it. Why not?
Here we go again, putting it in your mind that it was not a cyber attack. It's not a cyber attack. Like, why even mention that in the first place? Just come out and say what the problem was. End of story. Why even mention in the same paragraph multiple times that it was not a cyber attack? This is scary. I feel even more like it was a cyber attack. This was an intentional attack on our infrastructure. Maybe it was a warning. If you want to read this article, it's on apnews.com. I'm not going to read the entire thing. It does say that there were reports, and here you go, Verizon and T-Mobile. Now, what I'm about to say right now is purely my opinion and just kind of speculation based off of what I've been reading and the facts kind of thrown at me. Now, we know that T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T, and of course, like secondary carriers, Simple Mobile, people that are kind of under the umbrella of those big companies, a lot of them were affected. AT&T got hit the hardest, and I personally have T-Mobile. I wasn't affected whatsoever, but I know that there was some people that had T-Mobile. This is what I think. I think this attack happened on every cell phone platform, but T-Mobile and Verizon were a little bit more prepared. Maybe their software was a little bit better to handle this cyber attack, and that's why it didn't happen as bad as it happened to AT&T customers. Like I said, this is purely speculation on my part. I'm just kind of thinking out loud and sharing that with you. But it is interesting. Was it really a software patch? I mean, me being a gamer my whole life, I know that there's issues when it comes to patches and software updates. But think about how long we have owned cell phones for. Have you ever experienced anything like this? No. A lot of people, including myself, are not convinced that this was just a glitch. They're thinking it was intentional. Whether or not you believe that something bad is going to happen in the near future, there is nothing wrong with being prepared. They used to have this show back in the day called Doomsday Preppers. It's probably still going on, but I haven't watched it in a really long time. When I would watch this show, I would learn a lot, of course. Sometimes I couldn't help but laugh at some of the reasons why these people were doomsday prepping. Now, seeing all of this happening right in front of us, I can't help but admire these people even more for showing us how they prepared for the absolute worst. And I think we could kind of start taking notes from some of these people that we thought were crazy in our eyes and learn to prepare to survive, because it may come down to that. And if something goes down like this, it's survival of the fittest. I'm sorry to say, those are going to be the ones that survive the end of the world, those who prepared themselves for it. So what can we do to prepare? For many of us, preparing can mean many different things. For me, it's maybe praying more, get a little bit closer to God, being prepared for the absolute worst. For starters, we can get a landline in case our cell phones were to lose service. Me, myself, I am going to start preparing, and I am going to document it on my vlog channel if you're interested in watching some of those videos. Even if something never happens, there is nothing wrong with being prepared, and I think you should definitely start. The possibilities of what's happening and the warning signs that we've been given already are terrifying. Whether or not you're preparing for the absolute worst, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know here.
Just as he said, it's a terrifying thing. It really is. And the fact of the matter is, all this started happening last year. Back in October, guys. This is when it started happening. October 4th. When we tested our communications devices. Phones, TVs, internet on the computers and such. Radio airwaves. They were already testing us. They're still testing us. Something's getting ready to happen. It is getting ready to happen. We're not going to have any communication with each other or other people out there to find out what's going on. Something big is going to happen. It has something to do with our governments, other governments, the supposed New World Order, Mr. George Soros, that piece of fucking donkey shit that Trump is going to fucking squash when he gets in office. But isn't it very coincidental that all this happens and nobody bats an eye about it? Nobody does. What's even funnier is with this video, I'm looking in the comments section and somebody commented, I have AT&T, and I couldn't use my phone for anything. And AT&T just credited their customers $5 toward the next bill. $5 for an outage like that? And yet you were being very subtle with not saying that it's a, it's not a cyber attack. It's not an attack. It's not an attack. Bullshit. The videos I found this on. Sorry about that, guys. But the channel that I got these videos off of is on TikTok. Omar Gosh TV. OMAR Gosh TV. That's where I got these videos from. You guys want to check this out along with others. He's on TikTok. But yes, it is scary with what's going on with our nation, with what's going on with our telecommunications. It's real. And it's happening. So, like you said, get yourselves prepared. Stock up on food. Stock up on weapons, ammunition, whatever you got. But something big is getting ready to happen. It is getting ready to happen. And let me tell you something. It all affects. And as much as you guys want to believe or not believe it, or think I'm crazy for saying it, but this year's election is going to be the determination of what happens in our future. This is going to be the determination. If Trump does not get in office, things are going to be much more worse than it was for the last 4 years. Guaranteed. And this is just the first step. This is just the first step, and they're trying to cover their footprints. They're trying to offer everybody that little scoop of ice cream. You know, it's like, oh, please forgive us. Please forgive us. We're sorry. We're sorry. Here, have some ice cream. That's what it is. Yeah, maybe Biden's flavor. What was it? Chocolate chip mint, whatever the fuck you said. It could be dog shit flavored. I don't know. I don't fucking care. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's episode of Tune In Live. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of the podcast. If you guys have missed it, don't worry. It will be up on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below if you want to check out our other content as well as videos, our short videos, more videos to come. Be sure to catch our next episode of Utter Random Crap this Friday. I believe I already got a topic in there that we're going to talk about. Tom and I are going to talk about. And once again, if you guys want to be on any of these episodes, Tuned In Live, Utter Random Crap, if you guys want to be on the show, let us know. Hop into Discord. The link for the Discord is down below. Hop into Discord. Check it out. Come on over. Join us. Be one of us. Let me see if I can end it with this. Ooh, that was a nice one. Holy shit. That was nice and loud. Hope you guys enjoy that one. Also, guys, special thanks to our sponsor today. Once again, W.GG, W Energy Drink. If you guys want to purchase any of the products off their website, be sure to use that promo code ARROWWAN to save 10% over there. If you guys would like to check out our merch store, see what they got over there. If you guys want to buy any of our merch, use promo code ARROWENT and save 15% on your purchase. Check us out on our social media platforms, other channels for other team members as well. All that is right down below. And guys, once again, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, stay tuned in.
What we do here is go back.